So I wanted to walk you through an overview of Unit 3 in 8th grade math, looking at linear relationships. It really builds on the idea of slope from similar triangles that you did in Unit 2, kind of building up rates of change and linear relationships, and then pulling in the y-intercept, which they also call the vertical intercept, to match up with that vertical change vocabulary that we use as well. There's a lot of connections between rate of change, slope of a graph, and the constant of proportionality, because we start with proportional relationships. And then at the end, we're going to move towards what a solution to an equation really is. So the first 4 lessons are about proportional relationships. So they build back from those 7th grade proportional relationship skills using that constant of proportionality and building the idea of slope from there. So another big focus of this first part is on making sure that students understand the scale of a graph and what the labels are. And so there's a lot of expectations that students pay attention to the scale, pay attention to the labels, and then they're going to be creating appropriate scale. So there's a lot of work on that as well. That builds to using tables and graphs and situations and equations to represent that proportional relationship. In the next section, representing linear relationships, students are really looking at, when they say linear relationships, they mean non-proportional linear relationships. And so building that idea first from referring back to the slope triangles from Unit 2, and then building into a kind of repeated reasoning with a starting point and how much it changes by each time with that rate of change, and then moving eventually to the idea that you can translate a line from a proportional relationship by b, and that makes it a new line. And so that's how they build the slope-intercept form. In the next section, we're looking at slopes that aren't positive. So this is their first time they're going to see negative slopes, and we're going to still take a look at that as vertical change over horizontal change. And so whether it's positive or negative, if you're just counting change, you're going to get a positive slope. So being able to look at it and determine if it's positive or negative slope. In lesson 10, we calculate slope more explicitly with slope triangles. So we're just extending back and spiraling in what we've done in the past and finding the slope of the line. But students can still just look at it to determine if it is positive or negative slope. And if they need to sketch a graph of it to do that, that's fine. If they're struggling with the calculations, that's totally okay to do. Then we are also going to look in lesson 11 at slopes that are both positive and negative, and zero slope and no slope. In the last 2 lessons of the unit, we look at solutions and kind of that understanding that an ordered pair that is on the graph of the line represents a solution to that equation. And if an ordered pair is not on the line, it's not a solution. In lesson 13, we kind of move in the direction of solutions to systems of equations and looking if that point is at an intersection of 2 lines. That's a piece of it. It's definitely not mastered here. It's just kind of leading into future units where we get to that.